So here we are, another day, another dollar. I wish today was a red day. That's the life of being a trader or running your own company. You can work all day and still lose money, which is tough at first, but I've been doing this since I was 18 or something like that. So I'm super used to red days or red weeks or red months because over the long run, it really pays off. So you just brush the red days aside, learn from them, and then regroup so you can attack the following day even better than ever before. We haven't had a red day in a little bit, so I totally feel fine with this one. Plus the two trades that got us into the red could have been definitely much worse. Well, at least one of them, because for the first time I was halted on the way down. So this was a pretty intense one. The tickers we were trading today would have been that perfect getting aggressive in the first 15 minutes kind of theory. And even more so, sticking to the first calls. I made 2 calls pre-market of potential setups that I wanted to see that could have been really good trades. Both of them happened with NNVC and ENZ. So watching those play out and then running 20% from where I would have wanted to get in pre-market is a little bit painful. And then somehow making 2 trades that you weren't really looking to do pre-market, and then those are the red ones. So it's kind of like a little bit of a pinch, but at the same time, a good lesson that, if I see those opportunities that I call out pre-market when I'm extra sober in my mind, I don't have all those mixed emotions after the first 15 minutes, after the first 30 minutes of trading and yada yada, and really getting aggressive when I see those moves. That's the exact thing I did with APOP, which was our biggest dollar gainer of the challenge. I said, if we see some support hold in 257, 250 area, and we crashed a little bit below that, but then the stock instantly reversed, and I think it was only the first 3 minutes of the market open, and boom, I got aggressive because I was like, that's the trade I was looking for. And then blam, that thing runs up, 17, 18%, and we're in it. It was beautiful. So just staying true to what I want to do in the beginning, and then getting less aggressive throughout the day is usually the best bet for me personally. Now, everyone's going to be different. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone has a little slightly different strategy. So you have to figure out what works for you. And for me, I've definitely identified that getting aggressive early on, and then ideally getting more conservative throughout the day, because then the breakouts are a little bit weaker. The pullbacks sometimes are a little bit stronger or slower, or they just mess with your head. And yeah, I think today was just total proof of that theory. I definitely want to be talking about DRAD, which was our lead gapper in the day, and the stock that I got halted in on the way down. And I want to talk about why I wasn't that nervous as I maybe should have been, or if I blindly got halted in this one. So that's going to be a really good one to recap with you guys. Actually, it could have even been a profitable trade if I just held it a little bit longer, but that doesn't matter. You got to cut your losses though. Hope is not a strategy, and that is basically the only thing you can do when you're in a halt. All you are doing is hoping. All strategy kind of goes out the window. Luckily, I didn't sell into any sort of panic or something like that, and I sold into the bounce, and that way I was able to reduce my loss. But you just don't know. Sometimes those halts will keep flying down, but this time I was a little bit sure that it wasn't going to do that. So let's go to the charts and review that now. And before we go to the charts, remember, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're totally new here and you want to learn more about trading, investing, and all this fun stuff, definitely consider subscribing. I would love to have you join the channel, and see you in an upcoming stream. Let's nail out this recap, and then it's weekend. Why does the screen look so dark? Okay, so here it is, DRAD, Drad. And I kind of already felt like this one was going to be a bit of a drag. This was looking pretty good pre-market. When I first saw it, I was pretty excited. But here, I'll tell you one thing that I didn't like about it. So this thing's up 110% plus. But originally when I first saw it, it was about, I think it was 80 or something like that? Yeah, 80% pre-market, which was looking really good. We had big support here at 4 to 4.5, and check out their long-term chart, former reverse split. This thing definitely has some spikeability. A lot of the spikes, tend to continue up. So I was fairly, looking forward to this one. I think it had a lot of good stuff. It was over the 180-day moving average. We had kind of a lot of room to run here. $8 was some resistance, $9, and then here $11.30. So I was fairly bullish. Plus, big time support right below it. Everything was kind of going for it. Plus, let's see here. Yeah, so they had good Q4 results. So they were up on a really good catalyst. Now let me quickly come over here to their kind of stats a little bit. On the day right now, 66 million market cap, I mean, dollar volume, 14 million market cap, and 2 million shares outstanding. That's really, really spikeable stats. Not to mention, pre-market, it was north of $2, under $7. That's the exact range we were looking for. But then, right into the market open here, let me go back a little bit more. This thing goes from about $5 all the way up here to 6.9. That was a 40% run right before the market opened. And sometimes I don't really like when I see that. Oftentimes those are the exact stocks that will, tend to pull back a little bit more because they're a little bit overextended. And what I mean by overextended is because if you check out this 5-minute chart right down here, we had the big initial run. This is the first leg up, so to say. And then we have now the second leg up that just happened pre-market. So I'm like, oh man, that's what I wanted to happen with the market open. So I ended up being really conservative on DRAD and kind of missing this trade. So let me just kind of zoom in here one time and show you guys how we missed this one. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, so first 1 minute candle, this thing, this is a big candle. This was like 12% candle in both directions. Kind of opens up here. We instantly spike up, but then pull back again. So this was kind of tough. But then, I started noticing that 6.5 is really holding this support area pretty well. We tried to crack below it a few times. It just did not work. So I really should have got aggressive at 6.5. I'm kind of, in hindsight, I'm a little upset I missed this one. This is a move. This is a setup I've been seeing so much, like 2 weeks ago, before, actually almost 3 weeks ago, before the whole coronavirus was, all the coronavirus stocks were ripping, and that really got the whole market all over the place. It was only kind of biotech or sympathy plays all over the place. And then this pattern kind of stopped existing for a little bit. Especially once a lot of those biotech and medical supplies companies got a little overextended. But yeah, this is the exact same setup I would see over and over again. 1 minute pullback and then just absolutely ripping to new highs. So I was thinking that's what we could see here, and that's exactly what happened. This thing ran up 30%. So that would have been the ticket today, the first ticket, I guess you can say. Then we kind of consolidated in this area for a little bit. I was thinking, okay, it looks like we might have a big breakout here, but it didn't happen, pulled back. And then we were consolidating again. And this is when we got a quick pullback, and I had a limit order right here because this was a former breakout zone at the 747. And then boom, I think next candle, yeah, we cracked it, and instantly we go all the way down to 7.2. And it's because the spread was really big on this thing. So if you place a big sell order, it's going to trigger there's not going to be enough buyers. And that's why, this thing was getting halted in both directions a little too much. And I should have kind of known that. This order was a little bit aggressive, and part of me was thinking, you know what, Alex, that this order, something's going to go wrong. And it did. It's kind of funny how that even played out. We actually got a pretty okay execution at 745, because I originally placed the limit order, I think at 747. So if anything, we got like positive slippage, which I feel like never happens. Yeah, I don't know. Let me think about this for a second, because overall, this trade is kind of what I wanted. And then we had a nice little bounce here, 4% bounce. I could have got out for this one for a small profit, actually. But I was waiting for one more actual pop a little up here. And this happened so fast, it was kind of hard. And then we had a red candle, and I was like, you know what, I'm out of this one. And then I sold. Took my little loss here. It was about a 3% loss or so. So it really wasn't that bad, this whole hold, but still, it was annoying because it was the right trade, but at the wrong time. I should have waited for this candle to kind of play out, and then it would have been tough too, though, because maybe I would have wanted to buy in this candle. Either way, that's what I should have waited for. I should have waited, as this thing started reversing around $7, and I could have got a nice, 3, 4, 5% trade on this one, or maybe even got it in this area and sold up here for a 12% trade. So it was the right idea at the wrong time on a stock that was halting, and I should have been a little bit more cautious. Let me quickly talk about why I wasn't that nervous. And that's because this one was halted earlier today, and when it was halted, it actually bounced right back up. Bounced 6% up, and then it pulled back a little bit, but then bounced again, and then it ran to new highs. So I was thinking, okay, this thing is clearly just getting halted because the order book is very light and the spread is big. So it didn't worry me that much that was halted, but still, you don't want to really be in a stock that gets halted on the way down. It's a really big red flag, and overall, you don't want hope to be your strategy. And trust me, when you're just holding a halted stock, hope is the only thing you really kind of have going for you. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get out of this. And that's kind of what I did. Got out of it a little bit later. And I don't really regret it because, sometimes when a stock gets halted, it could get, go down another 10% and then get halted again, and then go down another 10% and get halted again. We've seen it. It doesn't happen all the time, but that happens to you once or twice, and that could really mess up your account size a little bit. So it's better safe than sorry, even if you have to take a loss. And this loss wasn't too bad. So I think overall DRAD, I think we played it okay. Could have been a little bit more aggressive in the morning and then more conservative after 10 o'clock. I say that all the time, and this is a perfect example of when I should get aggressive and when I should ease off the throttle a little bit. So that's DRAD for you. And NNVC both were our lead gappers. And then I want to talk about ENZ as well, which could have also been a lead gapper. It was kind of like my third best pick if I had to make a third best pick. So NNVC and ENZ, I have NNVC pulled up right now. And both of these, I was thinking they could be really good red to green pullback trades because, okay, let's talk about it right now. NNVC didn't have really any news today, but it's been one of those, just check out their daily chart. This thing's been running all over the place. It's a coronavirus biotech stock. This thing has just been in a move for a while. So I didn't really want to watch it out of the gates, but I identified, right here, there's a clear support and resistance of $10. And this is a current support zone. So we were pulling back to that area, and this was about a 7% pullback when the market opened. And just mind you quickly, this thing is up right around here at 60%, gapping up pre-market. So pretty nice. And we're pulling back now. This is a healthy 25% pullback back to those big support areas. And I should have probably got aggressive with this one because this thing, let's just zoom in here. This thing sells off, bounces once, and then makes a little bit of round bottom and starts moving here to the upside. Make one little tiny flag pattern here, which would have been hard to trade. But then this one, a nice move up, and then here again, a nice move up. This one we were watching, and this was tough because it was moving so slow, and I never really felt super comfortable. The buying here at 1050, just kind of buying into the dips. Would have been the ticket, because then we would have not had to worry so much about if this is going to break out or pull back, because you're already up 4 or 5%. Even if it does pull back, you just close it for a small profit or a small loss, with the goal of having this bigger move. And this was a 20% move. And pre-market I was like $10, 10.5. This is big support area. So I think just getting aggressive with NNVC, just based on their last all these daily activity, would have been a really good ticket out of the gate. I wouldn't want to buy an NVC as a breakout just because it's a bit overextended. So the breakouts probably won't be as strong. But buying those pullbacks, since a lot of people are looking at it, makes it a much better pullback stock. And I kind of wish that thought clicked in my head pre-market a little bit harder, but I was really focused on DRAD, and I thought we were able to potentially get a really nice trade out of DRAD. Let me just go to ENZ really quickly then as well, and we'll just talk about that. 171 million market cap, 47 million shares outstanding, $40 million volume. This one I wanted to be a little bit more careful on, buying breakouts and stuff like that, because it was a little bit more thinly traded, not to mention this $4, 3.8 to $4 resistance area that we were coming up to. It was really, really strong, and I didn't really feel comfortable trading this one. It did have nice biotech news as well, your classic coronavirus kind of testing services that they're launching. And I think this is a bit more of a sympathy play because it hasn't really moved. Even though it is a biotech working in the coronavirus sphere. So I don't know. I felt like maybe this is probably not the best play. It just it's the only thing that hasn't moved yet, coronavirus related. Anyway, this is a nice gap up here, 60%, and then pre-market we were identifying that if this thing pulls back to $3, it could be a good trade. And I even had an alert that went off. It was, I should have just got aggressive. I had an alert right around here as we dipped under $3, and then this thing pulled all the way back to 2.9, actually to even further, 2.85 or something. And then, we had the first little pullback, bounce back, that was a 12%, and then we had this run 30%. So that would have been the ticket. Again, we called this one out. pre-market, and it's a little annoying because NNVC and ENZ pre-market, we were like, this would be a really good trading opportunity. Unfortunately, kind of missed both of them. Finally, we did trade this ENZ on a pullback here, and we had a pretty good entry, except I had a limit order that was a little bit higher. It was like a 3.37 or something like that. I was trying to buy this bounce back to VWAP. I wasn't trying to get, overly greedy or anything like that. I was only looking for like 5 to 6% profit on this one, which I guess maybe been too much. Maybe I should have just looked for 3%. I kind of sold here at 1.55, which was just about the perfect low, which is a little stressful. And then this thing bounces up like 7% and even further. So the trade I wanted happened, which is always annoying. This could have easily been a nice little profitable trade. I don't know. It's looking at it, it's a little stressful. Red days happen. Days like today's is fine. I kind of was right about almost every trade. Actually, I was, but my timing was off. So that still makes it a wrong trade. Just a little bit stressful because you were so close to having a green day. If I just waited an extra few minutes here and there, it would have been a really nice green day. Or if I just got aggressive with ENZ and NNVC, like I said, would have been a ticket. With DRAD, I don't know. I don't know if I would have got aggressive here on this little breakout as we pulled back, but I do remember seeing this pattern over and over again, all over the place. So DRAD as well, in the first 15 minutes, that would have been the one to get aggressive on. And I kind of regret that I didn't get aggressive on it because I was really feeling like this could be a good trade. So I guess lesson learned. I got to understand that, that's the first 30 minutes of the market open, and especially the first 15 minutes of the market open is really when the activity is much nicer. And, trading a lot of these stuff, a lot of things down here it's much harder to predict. And look at this, DRAD kind of pulling back a little bit now. I'll probably go ahead and close this limit order out. If I do get this trade, which I'm not sure if I will, it'll be a very quick bounce trade, and I will let you guys know about it then first thing on Monday. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you did. If you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. I'd love to have you join the channel and see one of these upcoming streams so we could trade together. And you'll also see if DRAD, how it turned out. Most likely, I'm just not going to trade it. I'm kind of done here. It's already past noon, way past my trading time. So I'll wrap up with that. Till next time, guys, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.